Well, WeatherBrains episode number 456, and this is for October 20th, 2014. James Spann here. This is the pre-show, and you know exactly what this is. If you've watched this show before, this is that time where we get everybody's act together, and we are taking you live. You are looking live at our cruise set up there in Salt Lake City. As you can see, we have spared no expense in the broadcast set. And Nate, if you can unmute, I had to mute you for a minute there.
That's all right.
There you go. These guys are going to pick up the show tonight from Salt Lake. I'm just here. I am the presser of the buttons tonight. There's Dr. John, well coiffed as always.
All right, so we are in the middle of setting up. We're at the Leonardo Museum in downtown Salt Lake City, Utah. We completed the first full day of the National Weather Association's annual meeting, and we're now having a little icebreaker that the NWA has been kind enough to set up for us here at the Leonardo Museum. We're on the third floor, and it's been a great conference so far. I've been really excited about the talks and the presentations. The broadcaster day yesterday was excellent, and the talks today, except for the one I gave, were all fantastic. So we're really happy to be here. We're in the middle of getting set up here, getting the internet going and everything else. And I'm doing this on my phone, and I may just do this until my battery runs out because this is kind of cool. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is cool. We're broadcasting live from WA.
I'm going to take a little walk here while we get things set up and sort of show you around this convention space. They've got some food here set up for us. And I actually should show you the escalator. You have to come up 2 floors, and we got this really cool thing. I'm not sure what you call it, a sculpture, I guess, but it's really cool. And this looks like the combination of snow and spider webs. So you come up the escalator around that, and then we'll go walk around into the actual exhibit area, or not the exhibit area, but where folks are. And some folks just hanging out here on WeatherBrains. You guys are live on WeatherBrains here. So they've got the mixer here. This is an optional event, but it's something to get folks talking to each other and out of the formal sort of row of chairs and table setting that you tend to see at at conferences, and hopefully mix people up a little bit. We tend to sit with people we know or in places we're comfortable, and so the idea of an icebreaker mixer is to get people hopefully talking to people that they wouldn't otherwise see. So it's a great view while we're here. I'm just going to walk around and look out the window because I'm a big window guy, not windows plural, but window, and got a beautiful sunset over the Wasatch Front here in Salt Lake City. I'm going to do a little panorama here. This is just gorgeous. I love mountains, and there you go. In downtown Salt Lake City, the Wasatch Front, all the way around, and then a beautiful sunset hiding behind whatever building that is over there in downtown Salt Lake City. So it's been a great conference so far, and we've got 3 more days, tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday. Sessions today were about communication and response. We had a radar session. We talked about the Atlanta Snow Jam for a couple of hours this morning. Those of you who remember the Atlanta Snow Jam, we had a Raleigh ice storm, we had a Charlotte ice storm, we had a New York City ice storm, we had a Birmingham ice storm. And so we talked about that and the societal response to that and how we can get around that and do that better next time. Sounds like the folks in Georgia have their act together, I think, for a future event, which only guarantees that we won't have another event for another 20 years. We hope.
Hey, Nate, when is that part when Bill Murray strips down to a tank top and a do-rag and he dances on the table?
I'm absolutely certain that if that happens, I'm out. I'm done. Because that ain't gonna fly.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
We got some tasty victuals here for us. We got folks walking around with food, and we've got some chow here laid out. I'm not sure I'm going to be hungry for dinner after this. So some really good, tasty food. Really, we're not going to put on a party here at the Leonardo. Here's Rick Smith from the National Weather Service in Norman. And Rick, tell us a little bit about what you are doing here at the conference.
Okay, thank you. Well, I was lucky enough to be involved in both the broadcaster workshop and the student workshop yesterday. We did social media workshops for both of those groups and had a good time, lots of interesting discussion. And today we had a poster we presented from our office. One of our broadcasters did a presentation, and more fun stuff through the week. We have another presentation on Wednesday, so it's action-packed.
Yeah. It's been a full couple of days for those of us who have been involved in the broadcast workshop and then the actual conference itself. And like I said, we've got at least 2 more days, or 3 more days rather, to go with the awards luncheon coming up on Wednesday. That's always a big event to honor the award winners for the past year and to look ahead to the organization for next year. So things are just getting started. I see Bill Murray is now online over on the other side. If you see, look through the window here. Showing up on your screen. So.
Yeah, one thing, Nate, we've got to move Bill because all we can see, he's shooting the backlight, so all we can see is a silhouette there.
Yeah, that's really all we want to see.
Yeah, it looks.
Yeah, we're in the process. We're in the process. Hang on.
We're wandering around and heading back out to our location here, our live local late-breaking location. Here. Yes, it is. It's happening right here. So, got some folks attending the conference. We have a lot of folks here. So we have Jared from the National Weather Service in Jackson, Mississippi, and got your ID badge there. I think you have to take that off. It's mixer time. It's mixer time.
I had to put it on to get in here.
Oh, really? Well, oops. All right. I guess we do need our. Don't need those. So.
Maybe once we're up here at the Pence House.
I guess we're good. So got a contingent here from OU, it would appear, with the sweater. So introduce yourselves.
Melissa Bird, OU and National Weather Center.
Chris Maxim with a full mouth.
Very good. And how have you guys enjoyed the conference so far?
It's been fantastic.
Yeah, it's great.
It's been wonderful. Our first time here.
Excellent. First time NWA? So very good. All right. Excellent. And we have you. Who are you?
I'm Cody Matz. I'm from KMSP in Minneapolis.
Excellent. Well, welcome to WeatherBrains and welcome to Salt Lake City. First time NWA? Or?
Second time.
Second time?
The Charles.
Very good.
Didn't make it to the icebreaker, but
Yeah,
made it
well,
to this one.
we'll fix that now. So a crowd of people who are lining up to watch us crash and burn here live on WeatherBrains, the live hangout here. And we've got Bill and John getting mic'd up and wired up here. So so far, it's been a very fun conference so far, like I said, and looking forward to more of that coming forward.
I like this. I can just sit here and switch like a director. I'm relegated to a director. See, I can take that camera. I can take this camera. I can take that camera. And that's the best looking camera we have because Aubrey's on that camera. Hello, Aubrey.
Getting blown out.
Yeah, we got a couple of
There we
other
go.
folks here.
Trevor Boucher, WeatherBrains alum.
Hang on.
Yeah, there you go.
San Antonio.
Very good.
Amarillo, Texas.
Amarillo, and we got.
Huntsville, Alabama.
Oh, very good. What's your name?
I'm Jennifer Sari from WO Huntsville.
We've got Trevor, and then we've got Mark. So very good. Thanks for joining us here on WeatherBrains. How you liking the conference so far?
It's been fantastic.
What's been your
Old friends making new friends.
and what's been the most interesting presentation you've seen so far today? The UberJet. So tell me about the Uber. Give me the 30-second UberJet review.
Well, basically, if you have a 250 knot jet, it means bad news for the Northeast.
Bad news bears.
Bad news bears. We learned that one.
Referring to a talk this afternoon given by Dr. Lance Bozart of the State University of New York, talking about the UberJet. I wasn't able to make that one. I was presenting at another room at that time. But I'm looking forward to reading about the UberJet. Double dose. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. And if you're here on Wednesday, you'll get a triple dose. Very good. Checks in the mail. I appreciate that very much. So. Gentlemen, what do you have for us?
I think we're ready over here.
We are.
This is sound check, James. How do we sound?
All right, I'm gonna kill Nate's mic, and you bring up your mic, and let's try your mic now by unmuting. And you are still muted. Now, Aubrey, we can actually talk now while they're muted.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, we're not muted now.
Oh, they're not.
Okay,
They
good. Let me.
bypassed.
Yeah, let me go ahead and get this thing started while we got a second here, so we can get the show on the road. Let me hit the record buttons. Record number 1.
Comes Tim Bright.
Record
it's
number
Tim
2.
We'll start with.
There's our first.
I'm going to mute these guys for just a second. We're going to get started. Here we go. Aubrey's going to be tough to get a word in here.
Craziness.
Yeah, here we go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. WeatherBrains! Time for the weekly gathering of the Weather Weenies. Ladies and gentlemen, weather geeks, nerds, dorks, dweebs all come together. This is WeatherBrains episode number 456 for October 20th. 2014, it is a WeatherBrains special because we have a big crew that's out at the NWA annual meeting. But before we do that, Aubrey, I think we're the only two in the weather world that did not go to this show.
I know. I feel so out of place, James. I'm glad I'm not the only one, though.
No, we're like the outliers. We didn't get invited to the party. We're not cool and fashionable and hip. So, Aubrey, how are you?
I'm good. Well, I couldn't even go anyways because I'm filling in all week. So I'm doing all of the night shows. And, yeah, so it's a nice, big, long stretch. And weather, well, it's kind of quiet here right now. Yeah,
and I see I've never seen you in your studio before. That's a nice-looking place you got there.
Thank you. And I apologize for the backlighting. Getting the camera angle right is a little tricky. So I tried to do my best with the lights, but we'll see. I got to do a promo here in a few minutes, and then I can come back, and I shouldn't have anything until the 10 o'clock news. So. Okay,
great. So what we're going to do is just kind of turn the floor over to our Salt Lake City contingent. And for those that don't know, this is the week of the National Weather Association annual meeting, a big party, a gathering in Salt Lake City, Utah. So let's just go to somebody out there, pick it up. I got Nate on his phone. I got Bill and Dr. John at our set. We spared no expense. We have a very fancy set.
Team coverage.
Yeah, team coverage, live, local, and late breaking. We've got it. So Nate is got his phone out, showing this fancy set. I mean, again, we have spared no expense. We're going to pull this thing back. So, guys, how is it? Oh, they're both muted. Somebody unmute and talk to us.
Well, you muted us, so anyway. Yeah, it's great. It's the 39th annual meeting of the National Weather Association, and just a spectacular setting and spectacular weather. It's in the 70s to near 80. The only problem that John Scollin and I have is that it doesn't get light till about 7:45 in the morning.
Makes it very difficult if you want to run before the session starts.
But it has been a great meeting so far, and still a lot to go. Fantastic broadcaster session yesterday.
Right, over 550 we think weather weenies out here. So the world is tilted from a meteorological perspective towards Salt Lake City right now.
That's right, and it's a record attendance for the West.
Yeah, absolutely.
For any Western meeting.
We think it's top 5 all time for National Weather Association meetings.
And a lot of exciting news has come out of it. We had hinted for about 2 years at the emergence of a digital seal, and now that's happened, and it's out there, and people are lining up in droves to sign up for it.
And I want to congratulate my colleague here, the first #1 to get the digital seal, Bill Murray.
It was quite an honor and quite a lot of fun to
How many
achieve
times, Bill? How many times did you have to take the test?
The test really scared me, Nate, because I have zero formal training in meteorology. And so I really was dragging my feet, to take this test. And Miles Musio called me up and said, look, you got to take it. Because if you fail, you're not going to get to be #1.
Look at that view.
Oh, my gosh. Look at those mountain clouds there. That is just gorgeous. So,
he left. Did you see that head between our shoulders here?
Yeah, come here, Rick.
Come on, Rick.
Come here, Rick. And so
we got Rick Smith right here.
There he is.
Hello.
Can y'all hear us okay?
Oh, loud and clear. You guys are rolling in. This is good. I like the two camera thing where I can take
that's
a shot. It's Nate's shot looking out the window at the mountains here, and I got the anchor shot right here at the anchor desk. This is good.
Well, I can tell you the anchor desk is about the same height as my knee.
It looks like the kids' table at Thanksgiving.
I'm on my knees.
Rick's on his knees.
They came out and asked us if we wanted a taller table, but we told them no. So.
No, this is good. This works.
So
Expect our childhood.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it is quite an honor to be joining Jason Samenow and Mike Mogul as the first digital seals, and I was excited to pass the test on the first try. I really, was a little concerned about that, but it was wonderful.
And your scores were outstanding.
Well, they were accepting earth processes. I didn't do too well in that.
I can work with you.
So I'm going to have some tutoring in earth processes. But Span, you'd be proud of me. I made 100 in severe weather and radar and satellite interpretation.
That's an A+, pal.
Yep.
100. Doesn't get any better than that.
That's right.
So anyway.
Outstanding effort. So this seal is really the NWA's response to some of the less, how should we say, some of the posts that are on the internet right now, particularly when we get into the winter.
Just call them boneheads, Judge. Just call them boneheads. They are what they are, you know.
Would you like another death threat, James? I can serve you up a death threat if you'd like, because we had an idea. We were going to get Miles to come out and say that it was the Kevin Martin Award. He was getting the first. He was getting the first digital seal. There would have been a meltdown.
There you go.
Yeah, get the death threats ready.
Well, let's get Rick right in here to comment on his interpretation or his aspect so far of this meeting. Rick.
Well, I talked to Nate a little bit earlier, and yeah, it's a great meeting. This is the first opportunity I've had to be at an NWA meeting since 1998. So this is an awesome experience. Talked to the broadcasters and the students yesterday, and got started with the general sessions this morning. So it's been wall-to-wall weather, that's for sure.
That's a great point. Yesterday we had a student session, and several of us served as mentors for the students. And I don't know about you, Rick, but I am so impressed with this cadre of students coming along. They're showing up in suits and ties, well attired, their own business cards.
Business cards, LinkedIn profiles. I'm so thankful I'm not applying for a job. Because my goodness, this is I mean, the future is bright. If this is the future of meteorology, it's bright because there's some awesome students here. Yeah, we did you did the mentoring thing. We also did a severe weather forecasting class last night. The DVD swap with the broadcasters, and that was just all the first day. And then,
that was just the first day.
Today there's a full day of sessions and the icebreaker tonight, and then there's a broadcasters dinner, and some people will be involved in karaoke following that broadcaster dinner. I heard
that is a tradition with this meeting.
Not me. You guys have fun.
And James, you'd like this. I moderated a session this morning. It was a panel discussion on the January 28th snow jam in Atlanta, and we talked a lot about societal response, about wording with forecasts, and trying to improve the communication and response situation.
It was great. It was great. And
let
Aubrey,
let me just say this too, fellas. For those that want to follow along, if you just follow the hashtag NWAS14,
it's
almost
extraordinary.
Yeah, it really is.
Oh, it's incredible. There are at least 15 to 20 people in any session live tweeting, and plus we're doing a Storyfy at the end of every session to kind of capture the highlights if you can't follow along in real time. The NWA social media committee is working really hard on this. Trevor Boucher and Tim Bryce and Frank Alzheimer and others. It's it's the next best thing to being here for sure.
Hey, Rick, you haven't been there since 1998. That's what? That's a long time.
16 years.
How about do my 16? So how has the NWA annual meeting changed in 16 years?
Oh my gosh, I can't even describe it. The last one I was at was in Oklahoma City, and the last one I was at, I was also a relatively brand new forecaster who was very nervous to stand up in front of the room and begin my talk and see people like Chuck Doswell standing in the back of the room going, oh my God, please don't ask a question. Please don't ask a question.
With his cowboy hat.
So I've gotten over that a little bit, but the meeting itself has just grown. I mean, the student involvement, I don't remember students really being that involved back then as much as they are now. So certainly there was no social media back then, so the whole atmosphere of the meeting, the whole sharing of information, tweeting about things and sharing that, it's like night and day. So it's not going to be this long again before I attend one, I promise. Because next year it's in Oklahoma City, so I can just walk to it almost.
That's right.
Hey, Aubrey, I wanted to tell you.
I was going to say, I would encourage the broadcasters not just to stay for the one day. I went the last two that I attended. I stayed for the whole time, and they were just marvelous. Stay past Sunday. I mean, the sessions are great.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Aubrey,
I wanted to tell you that Laura did a bang-up job yesterday. She and Megan did their presentation on the colors, their study on the colors.
Right.
And she represented your station well, and the University of Oklahoma well. Boy, they got people stirred up when they started talking about showing velocities on the air.
Wow.
That was the peak of the tweet activity for a while yesterday, or the peak of the tweet activity and the questions from the broadcasters. I've never seen so many people stand up and go, well, what about if we do this and what about that? So it was good. She did good. You should be you've got a good meteorologist there.
Absolutely. We are very proud of her, and we're actually going to see if she can do a little presentation for just the three of us here. Maybe go out to lunch one day and see if she can present that to us. So we're very excited, and I texted her and I asked her how it went. She said it went very well, and so we're very excited to have her represent our station, and also excited to see some of her research and everything.
Yeah, it was very, very good. So. And there's been, there was a lot of good sessions today. There was we kind of, for the first time ever, I think the NWA did concurrent sessions. So there were so many excellent abstracts submitted that they broke it up into 2 concurrent sessions. It's not quite like AMS where there's 22 different things going on at the same time. Right. But there were 2 different sessions, and there was one track on radar and one track on communications. And had a forecaster from our office there, and Nate and our friend Dr. Susan Jasko did a very engaging presentation on communicating in this modern era of media that we're dealing with now. So I'm excited for tomorrow. It's jam-packed full of good stuff.
Hey, fellas, tell us about Dr. Usolini. What did he have to say today?
That was a very interesting presentation. In the past, it's been, I must say, sometimes it's been canned. What Louis come in with, it's been a little canned. But this one was really to the mark, and he shared his time with Kathy Erickson, right?
Yes, from the Ocean Service.
And there is tremendous efforts being placed right now in ecological modeling, looking at algal blooms, and not working as a separate entity, but actually working with the National Weather Service using the same models to try to produce, not only we're looking at storm surge efforts, but also looking at algal blooms, dead zones in the Gulf of Mexico.
The nuisance flooding along the coast is such a big issue.
The nuisance flooding, right?
The weather and the water are connected, and I think for it's the first time I've really noticed how strongly that tie is, or that connection is, between the Ocean Service and the Weather Service. We're both part of NOAA, but Louis and the speaker from the Ocean Service this morning made it very clear that this is a real teamwork, partnership kind of thing. And Louis also talked a lot about the Weather Ready Nation initiative and some of the success stories. Consistency is always a big issue internally in the Weather Service, from office to office, and consistency in general. So there's
John, he doesn't want to talk about it. Didn't Rick show up as an example in his speech today?
Oh, yeah. Not just his speech, but several others. Of course, Rick has been recognized for his efforts from the tornadoes from last year.
Yeah, Louis has really latched onto that as an example of what Weather Ready Nation and being prepared is, a relationship with the hospital, and
right.
So
exactly.
I'm proud to be on his slides, and proud of the work that the office did.
Some incredibly vivid examples of Rick's success in preparing the community for what just happened in May of 2013. So it's an honor to be sitting next to this man.
Oh, come on!
I'm serious.
It's our whole office, but yeah, it's an honor, and it's always gratifying to have people come up to you and say that the example that we set, or the things that they saw us doing back during the May tornadoes, have inspired their office to do something different, or to beef up their social media presence. So it's that's one of the most rewarding things about coming to this, is hearing things like that. And anytime you can hear that you're making a difference, that's big time.
Hey, Aubrey, the fun part is watching these guys get photobombed back there in the back. I just saw Rich.
Here's Dave.
Look who it is.
Hey,
it's a recent
real
guest.
live James Spann.
I'm the man in the box. So I saw Rich Thomas a minute ago from Montgomery. We got Dave from Memphis here. I mean, this is like an all-star cast, guys. I mean, you guys just...
Oh, yeah.
We're going to go start wrangling people up in just a second, and we'll bring you more.
That's our intent here. We're going to be walking around and pulling people in.
I can't wait.
All right. Good to see you. Thank you. So, who's first? We got Tim Bryce over here.
Oh,
I'm going to give up my...
No.
All right.
I just retweeted him. I think he photobombed.
Yep.
We've got Let me introduce Tim Bryce. Tim, you've done an outstanding job with the social media.
Well,
Explain some of the
pleasure.
efforts that you've been involved.
You know, we've actually got a team put together, and we actually covering a whole lot of things. At first, we came with a schedule that we're all going to schedule, make sure everything is live tweeted. But we quickly found out this year, in particular, we had over 1,000 tweets just this morning from the participants.
Did you hear that? 1,000 tweets?
Wow.
1,000
Wow.
tweets. And that's just from the morning session. I didn't count the afternoon session. So we kind of laid back, and we've got one person working on, I'm working on Tag Board, which is what shows up on the big screen, shows all the tweets, all the Instagram pictures during the breaks. We've got a couple of guys working on the Storyfy accounts, because you can imagine trying to filter through 1,000 tweets to get it down to the relevant ones that show the nice pictures and tell the story the best. It takes a lot of effort and a lot of work.
I noticed some of the computers that were set up in the session room this morning just full of tweets and just racing by at an amazing rate. In fact, after I sat down, after moderating a session, I sat down, pulled out my handheld, and Nate, who's sitting right next to me here, had already tweeted about some of the things I had said.
Right.
Nate's almost real time with this.
If you follow the hashtag, if you can't be here, follow the hashtag, and it's almost as good as being here.
That's
and one
true.
of the things that we've done differently this year that I was excited about is that we actually have access to the presenter slides. So in a lot of conferences, you'll see people take pictures of the slides up on the big screen, but we've got somebody now pulling them off directly, so it's a nice, clean image. So there's nothing about it being fuzzy or out of focus or anything. It's sharp and clean. It really helps to tell that story.
Yeah. And the tweets are so compact and so pointed that you're getting the most important aspect of some of these slides.
Right.
In almost real time.
And it's great when people talk. You almost need them to talk, and you got to make their sound bites like you would in a television interview, because you've got to get it in 140 characters. Plus, if you've got a link or a picture in there, it's got to be even shorter.
Well, Aubrey and James know all about providing sound bites that are appropriate in time.
I noticed that about the tweets, though, today, that I was seeing that they were very informative in that short tweet, and it was very to the point, and you got good information from that. It was your bold headline, and that was it was great information. But I noticed that today.
Well, one of the things that I've noticed is that while I'm trying to craft a tweet up, the speaker, of course, is rolling on ahead, and I will miss a few minutes of the conversation, but somebody else is working on a tweet from that, and with so many people tweeting all the way across, you can almost follow the whole presentation that they're going along, as each person tweets a little tidbit from here and there as they go along.
All right. Tim, thank you for your time and for all the effort you're doing at the meeting.
It's fun.
I'm looking over at Tim's shoulder, and I see Keith Sider, who is the executive director of the American
AMS. Yeah.
AMS. So we're going to get Keith in here. Hi, Keith. Have a seat. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us. We have James Spann on the line here with Audrey Obranowitz.
Hey, Keith, Aubrey and I are the stay-at-home people here. We couldn't. I think it's great to see the AMS and the NWA kind of interacting here. This is great that you're there, Keith.
Oh, I'm really thrilled to be here, and we've done all kinds of great things collaboratively with NWA, and so it's terrific for us to be here.
Keith and I talked at the AMS summer meeting that was in State College back in August, and one of my points to Keith was, let's not separate these two entities. Let's bring them together. Let's support each other, and you were 100% behind that, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we've done a lot of things collaboratively.
I agree. There's great strength.
I really do enjoy working with.
What has been most impressive to you so far in this first day of meetings?
Well, terrific program.
Yeah.
Wonderful to have all the National Weather Service people here.
That's nice, isn't it?
That's been not something that's happened, and so it's really terrific to have them here, because it's so great to have all members of the community together talking about these things.
What did Louis say? Was it 180? How many National Weather Service?
Yeah,
it's a very long. The last 2 years we suffered in getting National Weather Service employees here at our meeting, because they are such an important part of our organization, and the lion's share of the presentations are from National Weather Service people.
It's terrific.
Right. So to lose them in the last couple of years was a real real challenge for us to put the meeting on. But this year we're in great shape.
Right.
We're in great shape. Well, tell us a little bit about what you're doing with the American Meteorological Society.
Well, we're gearing up for Phoenix, which is coming up in January, and we're also hoping to have a really strong NOAA presence there as well this year, which we've struggled with the last couple of years.
Right.
The theme, I think, is just terrific. It's looking at how the new media and the technology is allowing us to get whatever kind of weather information we need to us at the time we need it, at the place we need it, and for what we need it for. So it's a great theme. It's a wonderful way to really put together all the things that are happening within our community and draw in all the different segments of our community.
Right. Are you hearing us okay, James?
Yeah, Keith's audio is a bit low. You just guys have to speak up and you'll be fine.
Yeah, we've got some partiers around us here.
Yeah. Okay, I'll do my best.
Well, much of this morning's sessions and our discussion has been about communicating a threat to achieve the desired result. The forecasting aspects are outstanding, of course, in many of these weather events. In fact, on the WeatherBrains show a couple of months ago, we talked about the Birmingham winter storm back in February. It's all about getting the response that we want, even though the forecast is there. But how do we get the public, the end user, to respond in the way that we want?
Right, and some of the presentations this morning made it so clear that just choices of words,
choices of words,
really impact the way people react to the forecast.
Well, James and Aubrey, you know all about. Well, Aubrey's gone away for a minute, but James, you know all about body posture, tone, the way you conduct on air to get the message across.
Right, and I believe that's a very important part of what we do. Eye contact, body language, the whole thing. So no doubt about that. I'm a big believer that you have to be on the green wall to be effective in communicating severe weather.
Okay, we have another guest in here. I'm gonna let Rick Smith take over.
You guys just having a big party out there. I mean, you guys are having too much fun.
We missed you though, James.
I'll try to be there.
Keith, thank you very much. Keith, thank you very much.
That's great, thanks.
I'm going to take it over here. Rick's going to take over for a bit. Right. All right.
Get our next guest seated here. One of the cool things about coming to conferences like this is you get to meet your real-life Twitter friends, and I got to meet Brad Panovich for the first time. This is Weather Brad, if you follow Brad on Twitter. And Brad helped us with or we helped Brad, I should say, with a social media workshop yesterday for the broadcasters, and had a lot of very lively discussions. So Brad, welcome.
Thank you for having me. It's always nice to be on WeatherBrains. How you doing, James?
Good, man. That's a good-looking hat. Hang on.
I know. It hides my beautiful hairline.
Yeah, I got to find one of my hats. I got a bunch of them in here.
So, Brad, we talked to the broadcasters yesterday, and I think one of the things that people's eyes seemed to light up a little bit is when you talked about getting verified on Facebook. It seemed like quite a few people didn't really understand that, or that you could even do that. Talk about that a little bit.
I think the biggest, and James knows this firsthand, is the biggest issue with Facebook and weather is the amount of reach you're getting with your posts. So while it's not a perfect solution, one of the things Facebook is trying to do, I think they're kind of listening to our pleas for help, is they're allowing a lot of pages to become verified. And when you become verified, it's a simple process. If you have a fan page or a business page or a station page, they just want to verify it to you. Usually if you upload an ID and have a link back to some corporate page or a blog or a website. And what it does is Facebook then knows you're a legitimate source for information. And while you won't get 100% reach, I don't think anyone's ever going to get that point, you do get more than the 6 to 10% reach that a lot of pages are getting, sometimes as high as 15 or 20%. And it also suggests your page more often when there's other weather posts. So you end up getting more likes, more shares, and more interaction with your followers at least a little bit. It's better than nothing. So yesterday we talked a lot about how users can get verified, and I think it also helps against some of these phony forecasts we see online. You become more of a legitimate source of weather information, at least on Facebook, and it's still going to have its drawbacks. But as we talked about yesterday, there's just so many people on Facebook. You still have to post information there.
Yeah, hey, so Brad, what percentage do you think you're reaching now on Facebook now that you're verified? What increase?
It probably went up, James, about maybe 3 to 5%. I think, and the likes really increased quite a bit, because what's happening is Facebook is now suggesting my page more to users. And you probably have seen this. You click on a story or a page, you'll get like similar pages suggested to you. And when you become verified, especially if you click on another weather story or another news station, they will suggest your page more, so you end up picking up some likes. So it's not a huge increase, but it's better than it was before.
Hey, Rick, are any of the Weather Service Facebook pages verified yet?
I don't think so. That's what I was thinking when Brad was talking about that. I didn't really know that much about it either, but I don't know if we would even be eligible for that. All of our Facebook, a lot of the admin stuff on our Facebook pages are controlled at the national level, so it probably wouldn't be as simple as Brad doing it for our office to do it, for example. But it's something to look into, though, because you certainly need all the reach you can get, and if we're only getting 5 to 10% of that, then and we talked a lot about this yesterday too. I mean, you may only be reaching 5 to 10%, but it may be an important 5 to 10%. Yeah. And we had some success stories from the May tornadoes, and other people shared stuff, and it's. I think we still need to be there. I mean, would you agree with that?
I think sometimes we focus too much on the people we're not reaching, and we forget about, like you said, the percentage that you are reaching. And the biggest thing we talked about yesterday too, and I know James does a great job of this, is sometimes we get caught up in shares and likes, and we don't get to the interaction. We're not answering questions or looking at the comments. And when you interact with at least a few people that you are reaching, eventually down the road it might help increase your reach. But it's clear to me from Facebook's standpoint, they're kind of figuring out that, hey, we need to serve news and weather information more. They want to be more like Twitter, and they're clearly making changes to the algorithm. In fact, I was in the WSI Weather Central meeting today, and they're apparently in some kind of negotiation with Facebook to get their automated post to show up more frequently in the Facebook API. So if they're doing it as a company, I think they have some success in that. Then there might be hope for us to get more reach on there as well.
Anybody got any questions for Brad while we have the
Brad, what do you think about the new social media network, Ello?
I haven't been able to get on yet. I got an invite, and I tried to get on there, and I haven't been on, but I do think it's unique, because I think this is the future of social networking, because Facebook and Twitter and all these other networks have grown so huge that people feel like it's overwhelming, and I think these more personal connections, you saw this a little with Snapchat. Why Snapchat was so popular is that it's the one-on-one communication with people that I think these more close-knit, smaller communities are probably going to become more widespread, as people kind of look at Facebook as like this big conglomerate company that's stealing all their privacy information. We may see more and more of these smaller networks become more popular.
Hey, Brad, talk about the importance of Google Plus and search engine optimization.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. We talked about that today a little bit in a session I was in. A lot of people look at Google Plus and say, my friends aren't on there, there's not a bunch of people on there. But what it does do, if you post on Google Plus, it increases your SEO, we call it, which is search engine optimization. So if you post a lot of weather information on there, and somebody who doesn't know who you are, doesn't watch you, let's say, searches for weather information in Charlotte, for my case, they will find posts from me, and they will find me through Google search. So whereas people think, okay, I don't know anybody on Google Plus, but the thing about Google Plus is it's how people discover you, because oftentimes on Facebook and Twitter, while people can find you on there, they kind of have to do something. They have to like you, or they have to follow you. On Google Plus, they can find you through a simple Google search, which the majority of people do. They search for weather information on Google. So if you're posting on there, especially blogs, weather updates, they will find you. And I'll give you a good example. A lady contacted me about speaking at her school, and she had just moved to Charlotte, and she just searched Charlotte weather and Charlotte meteorologist, and I was like one of the top 2 searches, and that's how. And she told me, she goes, "That's how I found you. I did a Google search, and I found you." So if you're looking for people who don't know you yet, Google Plus is really a good place to be.
And the next question to you, Rick, is the Weather Service going to dabble in Google Plus?
Oh, we are trying. Believe me, we are trying. Tim Bryce, who was on a little while ago, has been part of a project to try to get us involved in that, and that's kind of in that headquarters. It's in their hands right now, so I don't know. Getting us involved in Google Plus would also enable us to be able to do Google Hangouts like this, which would be huge for us. So that's the thing I'm most excited about, of getting into that. But yeah, it's I heard back during the WCM conference that it was just around the corner, but the corner has receded into the distance a little bit. So I don't know where we are on it, honestly, but it makes a lot of sense to be there, though.
The Google Plus Hangouts alone would be huge for weather briefings.
Huge.
Especially because people could take their phone and just call in and listen. They wouldn't have to even watch, and then it's archived on YouTube.
Right.
And people could go back and watch. I don't know if you saw some of the students that were using the Hangouts as a way to practice broadcasting.
Yeah, Penn State, the Penn State Meteorology Department was doing that. I think it was Penn State.
Yeah.
They said that they were using Google Live Hangouts and YouTube to practice doing severe weather cut-ins and live coverage, wall-to-wall coverage. So I thought that was a neat idea, and what a powerful tool that is to be able to do that.
Hey, Brad, for younger people that want to get into this business, broadcast and media, the one question I hear all the time: how in the world do you have time to handle all of this? You're doing social media day, night, weekends. How do you prioritize your life with all this?
I'll be honest with you. At first, I had no life. It was all weather all the time. But once I got kids and a family, you have to take time. You have to set boundaries and put this thing down. You have to just say, I'm going to put it down for Saturday for 12 to 5 p.m. let's say. But I also think, as a meteorologist, the severe weather days, you always have to be there. And just realize when you get the sunny and 80 days, that's the day that maybe you should cut back a little bit. Take a break, take a breather, because on those severe weather days, you have to be there. I have no problem. My wife is totally okay with me being very active on the weekend if there's active weather. But the first question out of her mouth always is, Brad, is there severe weather? If not, put the phone down, get away from the computer, and step away. And I have taken time to step away from it. It's not only good for my family life, it's good for your mental health to just kind of step away from it once in a while. And the other thing is, as a meteorologist, I think sometimes I see this even in young students, is you take the time to look at the sky. I mean, sometimes, I see the chasers doing this all the time. They're so glued to their iPhone and their computer looking at radar scope or GR2 analysts. And sometimes you just got to look at the cloud. And people forget that in the old days when we used to chase, you read the storm. You looked at the way the storm was behaving out there, and that's the whole point, was to get out of the classroom and go watch the storm. So I think it's healthy for all of us as meteorologists to take some time to actually look at the sky instead of looking at a computer map or looking at a radar. It really does help.
We're going to let Brad go. Brad's got to go grab some food or drink or both, and he's got karaoke to warm up for later. So
working my voice.
So we got some other guests lined up. So Brad, thank you so much.
Rick.
Appreciate it.
And thanks for your help yesterday.
Yeah, I thank you. It was good. So, all right. Next up, we have another very special guest who's going to be turning the tables on us here in a week or two. Jen Henderson is here. Welcome, Jen.
Hey, how are y'all doing?
Good, Jen. How are you?
I'm fabulous. Thank you.
Since Panovich had on a hat, I decided to put my hat on. So that's the hat deal. He started it.
So there's a hat competition going on.
Well, Jen's been here. I know Jen's been very busy so far. You were busy, active yesterday in some of the activities. You helped moderate. One of the coolest sessions I sat in on yesterday was a session for students about career opportunities, and there was a weather service representative, a private sector rep, academic. I'm leaving someone out, but it was just they gave a little 5 or 10 minute spiel about career advice, and Jen was there also. Did you moderate?
Yeah, I was the student representative who's helping moderate.
Okay, yeah, sorry. There's been a few sessions between them, but it was just good advice, and like we talked about earlier, the students here are so impressive, and the information that they were able to get from these experts is just invaluable. And Jen, I thought you had some really good advice for the students about resumes and things like that, and so that was good. And then today you were involved in the we had a pretty large extended session today on the Atlanta Snow Jam, or whatever we call it, from last January, with an emergency manager and the MIC from the Peachtree City office and Dr. Laura Myers, and it was really good. And you were involved in that also, right?
I was indeed. Snow Jam sounds to me like
we're having way too much fun here. I'm sorry. We got Nate back there with the camera in the back, and I'm watching myself.
Scenes.
Yeah, we're having way too much fun. The technology is just too good here.
That's okay. No, fun is good, right?
It's great.
So Jen, what's your take on the conference so far? I mean, what's it like being here, interacting with all these weather people, and and what else have you got coming up for the rest of the week?
Well, so I'm originally from Utah, so my family's here in Salt Lake City. So for the rest of the week, probably starting Wednesday, I'm going to go hang with my family. But,
cool.
What I really love about this conference is I'm an operational and broadcast sort of geek, so I spend a lot of my time with the expert community and the FOs and talking to broadcasters about the challenges that you all face. So this is my chance to interact and learn kind of what are the issues that you all care about the most, and then that sort of helps drive some of my research. So that's what I enjoy about it. But I love seeing all the new people come in and all these students that are coming in. Yesterday at the session, there's a lot of eager people out there trying to figure out what their next steps are. So it's kind of fun to interact with the young people coming up. And being one of the people who's in my PhD program, I'm more of a senior student now, so it's nice to be on that end rather than the freshman end.
And you've kind of been, one of your areas of interest is kind of in the integrated warning team and how that whole thing works, and that's come up. I mean, everything. That's what all of this is about. The whole conference, and that session today about the Atlanta snowstorm really encapsulated that very well, because we had the whole integrated warning team up there on stage. Jim Cantori from the Weather Channel, an emergency manager in the Weather Service, and what's some of the work you've been doing with integrated warning teams and helping Weather Service offices with that? Because I'm going to be coming to you for some help here soon.
Well, one of the things that I am interested in with the IWT, well, first of all, I think it's a really interesting sort of social movement that sort of organically arose within the National Weather Service, so it's more of a bottom-up, grassroots sort of initiative, and so I think it has a lot of potential to really shift a lot of the practices and a lot of the ways that people work together, which is encouraging. I think that's less likely to come from a top-down sort of model, so I think it has a lot of potential to work. One of the interesting things that I think social scientists fill this gap or this niche is we come in and help facilitate, and in some ways we're sort of a neutral observer for the three parties that are the kind of key stakeholders in the group, but I'm enjoying sort of learning about the best practices, what works, and also challenging some of the formats. I think we might be, I don't want to use the word rut, but we're sort of starting to get into a familiar train of thought with how IWTs work, and I think there might be some more interesting, innovative ideas out there that we just haven't thought of on how to conduct them. Biggest challenge, how to follow up, how to keep building that community. You know more than any of us how that is a challenge. So I just think it's an exciting place to sort of focus some energy for social science research, but also as a social scientist helping out as a facilitator.
IWT is something brand new that just came up. I mean, there's been informally an integrated warning team as long as we've been doing this. I mean, that's how the whole system works. The IWT that most people are familiar with now is having these meetings where everybody comes together.
I see.
And there's more creative ways. I mean, we're doing some creative things in our area, not necessarily getting everybody together at the same time, but still working through those issues. So, like you said, there's other ways to do it, and it's good to, you don't want to get into the rut of just, okay, here's time for another meeting, let's get everybody together, and following up, like you said, is huge too.
Yeah.
It's difficult.
Yeah.
So, James, Aubrey, anybody have any questions for Jen?
Well, what do you think that what is the one message, Jen, you want broadcasters to hear coming out of this meeting when it comes to social science and communication?
Just specifically for broadcasters?
Yes. This is a nosy personal question for me and Aubrey.
Well, I don't know that this is coming out of social science research, so I'm just going to call this Jen's perspective here. But
go.
That's even better.
Well, one of the things that I think is unique is when we talk about educating the public, I definitely think that all different partners are doing that, but I think you all are sort of the front lines for the education. And I think you all are not just the front lines in pushing information, but you're also able to maybe receive a lot more information and build those relationships more than others. So I think when we talk about educating the public as a weather enterprise, really you all have a lot of lessons to teach all the other members about how to build those communities, how to build those relationships, because you're the visual face of the broadcast community, right? So I mean, of the weather community. We don't see National Weather Service and we don't see emergency managers. So I don't know. I think you have a valuable
So
insight
how would you grade our performance in that area? A, B, C, D, F. Give us a grade right now.
In educating the public?
Yes.
I don't know if I could give the whole broadcast community a grade, because I haven't seen enough of the broadcast community to give a generalized
Aubrey
grade.
would get an A. Aubrey would get an A.
Aubrey would for sure get an A.
I still have issues, but my question is, kind of along that lines, what you're talking about is having that relationship with the public. How important is that with, just individual, James likes to, individually respond to as many people that he can. How important is that? And also, doing those community appearances to talk to people, to build that relationship so they are taking what we say seriously.
Well, so I'll draw a little bit here on pedagogical theory. So if you look at actually education theory itself and what is working in the classrooms across the country and what people are starting to look at in terms of successful models for education, they call them learner-centered models. And so you can't, as a teacher, you can't come into a classroom and really reach the students in the classroom until you understand the learner's needs. And I think if we're going to talk about educating the public, one of the most important elements of that education then is understanding the learner, and that's members of the public. So if they're going to learn something from us, then we have to know where they're coming from, what are their issues, what are their needs, what are the things that they're confused about, what are the things that they can bring to the table in terms of their own expertise. So I think it's really important to make those public appearances and to be able to respond one-on-one with people. Of course, there's only so many hours in the day, so that's going to be limited. But I do think the effort that you're making in terms of getting out and reaching out to those people and understanding their point of view, education is as much about listening as it is about teaching. So I think that's kind of the role that you all are playing when you're responding one-on-one, or you're going out and doing these outreach missions. You're hearing people in a way that maybe other members of the Weather Enterprise can't hear.
And I've said this before, I think we're guilty sometimes of sitting around these meetings and we do things that are right for us, where we're not at the Target or the Walmart where real people are. We don't even know what their needs are. So I'm a big believer in getting out and engaging with people and talking with them.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I agree.
Every market has different needs, different communities, different populations. I mean, yeah, absolutely. I think pounding the pavement and being out there is very important. I think that you all are sort of on the front lines of that. National Weather Service has some role to play in that, emergency management some role to play in that, but you guys are so public in terms of, people recognizing you. You have that going for you, that people are willing to come up to you and say, oh my God, you're famous, and I see you on TV, and there's a pretty interesting entree right there.
Or they could say, you're a loser, you cut off Dancing with the Stars.
I know, but I know. I'm an optimist. I know. I'm an optimist. I haven't been out there.
Now, James, Jen will be back in about 2 weeks to interview all of us. Are you scared?
I'm horrified, yes.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yes, and
I can handle it.
Can I just make a pitch to your viewers that if they have questions, burning questions that they would like to have asked of all of you, that they tweet those to WeatherBrains, so that we have not just my questions, but their
take those in, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes, or would you email is fine as well. But I would like to hear from your viewers what questions they would like asked of all of you. Turn the table, so to speak.
Outstanding. Jen Henderson from Virginia Tech, thank you so much. It's so good to have you on the show tonight.
Take care, y'all. Bye.
Thank you, Jen. Bye.
All right, James, we got a good group from Cal University of Pennsylvania, some students. So let's get them in here, Nate.
Yep. So if you want to,
come on. You take it.
There we go. All right, we've got those of you who are familiar with Dr. Susan Jasko. She is a professor at the California University of Pennsylvania, which is not in California, at least not the state. It's in California, Pennsylvania. And you guys sort of jump in and introduce yourselves. We'll start here, ladies first.
Hello, my name is Brittany Kuznar. I'm a senior meteorology major.
I'm Brendan. I am a sophomore meteorology major.
John Troutman. I'm a junior meteorology major. Josh Gebauer. I'm a senior meteorology major. Aaron Hegler, I'm a freshman, meteorology major. Dylan Jeffrey, junior meteorology major.
All right. And what do you guys, first NWA for all of you? Or
No.
No? Third? Wow. You got to love that. They've been to more NWAs than I've been to in the last 5 years, which is a shame. I haven't been to more. But so tell us, what are your impressions of the conference so far?
So far, it's the biggest turnout I've seen. Great representation from all sectors. We went to the student sessions. They were great with networking experiences. And that's the one thing I always take away from these conferences is how great of a networking experience it is. I see the same people every year. I come back, reconnect, have coffee breaks. So I really enjoy the atmosphere.
So what's the you guys have one presentation that you've seen so far that sort of sticks out in your head for one reason or another, either from the student workshop or from the main conference?
I think it was the review of the Atlanta snowstorm. I thought that was very interesting. I'm into current events. It was kind of good to sit back and kind of review what happened and how people can maybe do a better job in the future. What things could change, what things need to stay the same. I thought it was just a very good culmination of the entire event moving forward.
All right. Anybody else have one that sticks out?
Well, I enjoyed the Uber jet ski by Lance Bozart. I'm more of a pure weather geek, and I enjoyed the hardcore meteorology that was involved with that one.
So you're yet someone else who's mentioned the Uber jet presentation. I'm looking forward to that one as well. So I know you guys have to run. You've got the dinner reservations. So thanks you for being on WeatherBrains, and we'll see you guys around. You guys will be our bosses in a few years. So just remember our kindness. Remember our kindness in the New World Order, and see you guys later.
Thank you.
I'll take care. So next up, we've got a couple of folks. Actually, Rick had mentioned them early on. We've got Laura Mock. And Megan, remind me your last name? McClellan. Megan McClellan. These are OU students here, and I'll actually let you guys have the camera.
Thank you.
And these are OU students that are former OU students that did a senior project. And tell us a little bit about the project. This really generated a lot of conversation yesterday.
It really did. We wanted to compare weather graphics, whether it be television graphics or things put out by the Weather Service and SPC, and we wanted to look at how people are perceiving this, whether it be the color or the legends used, and we found some really interesting things. Part of the graphics that we chose, we noticed that a lot of the Oklahoma City stations were using blues and greens for their watches, and to us that didn't seem very intuitive. So we put it up to the test, and we found out, yeah, it's not intuitive. People were not taking it seriously. And then certain legends were extremely confusing.
It would just say tornado and then have two colors, but which one's the watch? Which one's the warning? It was not labeled very well.
And we also, this is the big talker, we put velocity images up to the test.
And James, your take on velocity images involves a bucket of spilled paint still, yes?
Exactly. People see a bucket of spilled paint.
So what did you guys find out with your research on the velocity images?
Well, we asked people one very important question. Do you think your location is at risk for a severe weather event? The majority of people, I think probably about 75%, answered every single time with neither agree or disagree. And 60% of people openly stated, I have absolutely no idea what's going on. Why are you showing me this? Some people thought the green was rain, and they said, oh, I'm safe if I'm in the green area. I'm in danger if I'm in the red. We changed up the colors a little bit too, and there was some with white in it, some with gray in it. Some people thought the white was snow, even though the title says velocity and we're talking about severe weather. Their mind immediately went to snow, and we're realizing that these colors that we're using are so vividly associated in people's minds with certain things. And you can't mix that up if you're trying to get people to take action.
So what's next for you guys? You guys are both in the industry now. You're one of our.
Hi, Aubrey. Hi, that's my girl Laura. She works with me here. Very excited for her. So yeah, congratulations.
And Megan, you're in North Texas.
I'm in North Texas, Southeast Oklahoma at K10 News.
So yeah, we'll be seeing and hearing. Are you guys planning on continuing this research project in the next couple of years?
We would absolutely love to. We just don't know how yet. Because working full time, that's where all our attention is right now. We're just getting into the industry. But, hey, P.S. if somebody wants to fund us,
Megan and Laura, thanks for being here.
Thanks
and
for having me.
for the presentation. You guys did a lot of folks talking. It's really good.
Thank you.
Thank you. So next up, we're going to try and get National Weather Association Executive Director Janice Bunting, who is here, and she's on the conference. We'll have Janice first here.
I wonder Janice and Keith with the AMS to get into a mud wrestling match with these things. If they get along,
Earpiece there.
I would pay good money to see that mud wrestling match.
He wants you to mud wrestle with Keith Sider from AMS this year. I got my money's on Janice.
He's right over there.
Yeah, I got my money on Janice too. She's the winner.
I agree.
So tell us a little bit about the meeting so far. Seems to be a huge success. So what are your impressions a day in?
It's been fabulous. I've been very excited. Our numbers, I think my forecast is going to bust too low. I was expecting about 530 people, but it looks like we may come in above that.
Wow.
And we kept having to add chairs to the room this morning in the concurrent session. We're standing room only outside the door. So it's been fabulous. It's been a great time. It's been wonderful to have all the sectors of the weather enterprise here, the weather service, all government, private sector broadcasters, students, and it's been a really good meeting.
It's your first meeting as executive director, and you've got a big one coming up next year, 40th anniversary of the organization. Tell us a little about what we can expect in Norman next year.
Well, we're going to meet in Oklahoma City, which is just down the road from Norman, and it will be our 40th anniversary, as you mentioned, and we're still working on plans, but I think we'll be working with the University of Oklahoma. We're talking about a possible icebreaker at the Weather Center, and then we can show off a new office as well in Norman, because we're going to be moving to a bigger space. And we don't have that many plans yet, but we're going to make it big.
It's going to be a big one. Excellent. It's going to be next October.
Right now, yes, we're planning on October, and the hotel is the Renaissance, and we'll be at the Convention Center, which is in the Riverwalk area of Oklahoma City. No one has been there in a while. It's fabulous. Lots of restaurants, minor league baseball team, of course, the Thunder is there.
AMS broadcast and WeatherBrains was there, I think, 3 years ago. It's a great venue for a meeting. It's very convenient because it's hotel's right there attached to the convention center. So let me ask you one last question. Somebody watching this program now, maybe not a professional meteorologist there, they just love weather. Is the NWA for them?
Yes, it is. The weather is open to anyone who has an interest in weather. And this is an all-inclusive organization. Our mission is to connect those people who love weather to improve our science. And I think we're meeting that mission here. But we have people from all walks of life here. And you don't have to be a meteorologist or you just have to have a love of weather. And we hope that you'll interact with us and learn more, and probably even share some knowledge with us as well.
It's a great organization. Like I said, my last NWA annual meeting was Reno 7 or 8 years ago. It was a great meeting, and I just, because of the job, took a new job right after that, I've been able to make it out, and it's been a regret because it's always a great meeting with a very family feel. I feel like it's like a family reunion that I want to go to, like my family too.
I always feel like Cheers.
Everybody knows your name?
Yeah, those first few years that I was coming, I'd kind of be nervous, like, who am I going to know, who am I going to remember? But you get in the room, and 2 hours later, it's like, hey, Norm, It's a very warm group, and it doesn't matter how far you've gone in your career, everyone's talking with each other, and you can just go right up to the big experts.
It's a very horizontal organization. I don't feel like there's barriers between me and some of the speakers that I'm interested in, folks that I see on national TV. It's like we're all a member of this big family, which is great.
And then we get to meet all the up-and-coming people in our field and other related fields, even social science. And the students coming through here are just fabulous. They're adding so much to the organization, and get to know them and watch them progress from being a student to being a professional. It's a lot of fun.
Excellent. Congratulations on a successful so far first meeting as executive director, and we look forward to seeing you in Oklahoma City next year.
Thank you very much.
Very good. And we did break some news here at the NWA annual meeting. Of course, we talked about it at the beginning of the program, and that was the NWA Digital Seal. And I'm going to hand it over to Bill Murray, who is seal number 101, which means he's actually the first guy. We talked about the test that you had to pass. I'm going to hand it over to you and Miles Musio to talk about the Digital Seal.
Yeah, this entire process is the brainchild of Miles Musio, who's here. He is the broadcast media chair. Miles, this was sort of your baby. What made you want to birth this Digital Seal?
Well, it all came about in 2009. That's when the group of us at the BMC, the Broadcast Meteorology Committee, started to realize that the industry was changing so much that we needed to go to something that would deal with cybercasters, and that's really where it started. And it's taken 5 years to get to the point where we're ready for prime time.
So a lot of questions came out over the weekend. Of course, you can go to the NWA site and read all about the press release and the qualifications and procedures in order to be certified. And I'm very honored to get to be the Digital Seal Manager in this process. It is all laid out in the Q&P very clearly, but there have been some questions, Miles, like, does a broadcaster need this seal?
Well, the broadcast seal itself, actually, no. The answer would be generally no. However, if you are a broadcaster at a station, and then you also are, you have your own company, and there are some people who do that.
Uh-oh. Did we lose them, Aubrey?
It sounds like it. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
They are frozen, it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like we have lost our connection out there in Salt Lake. So
who knows how many phones they have going on in Salt Lake.
I'm surprised the bandwidth has been so good.
I was thinking the same thing.
It has held up very nicely here.
Oh, all right. Let's see.
Yeah. So I'm going to take him out and let him come back. So let's do this, Aubrey. Let's get in our segments while we're here, because we're both kind of on duty tonight. So I'm going to roll Professor Peters. We'll do Tony Rice in the astronomy segment. And by the way, just had a fireball in the southern sky.
I saw that. Now, you guys have a lot of fireballs down there. Is there something geomagnetic with Alabama? We're gonna have to do some research on this.
Yeah, we got to ask Tony Rice that question. He's our astronomy guy, but we
and
had
always
a big
on a
fireball.
Monday night. Always on a Monday night.
Always during this show. I don't know what it is, but Bill Cook is at NASA in Huntsville, Alabama, and this is one of his primary jobs, and he's very good. He will typically get back with me within about 20 minutes, and I'll know how big it was, where it entered the atmosphere, and if he thinks anything is left. So we'll find out about that. It is, but we're going to do Professor Peters and Tony Rice, and we're going to come back with Aubrey's email segment. We got the fog bank and much more. Don't go away as WeatherBrains rolls along.
WeatherBrains 101 with Professor Peters.
We're into the fall when we get some clear, crisp mornings, so you may have heard this little item of weather lore. Cold is the night when the stars shine bright. Well, this particular weather lore does have some truth to it. In the winter, the nights tend to be long in our middle and high latitudes of the northern hemisphere. So when the sun is not out, the Earth's surface can continually cool off. If the stars are shining bright, like the statement mentions, it means the sky is clear. With a clear sky, we have the right conditions for good radiational cooling, where radiation is emitted from the Earth's surface to escape into space. Cloudy nights are typically warmer than clear nights, all else being equal, since the clouds will act somewhat like a blanket and insulate the lower troposphere, causing the temperature to not cool off as much at night. Water vapor acts as a greenhouse gas. When water vapor presence is low, temperatures will cool off significantly at night under clear skies. Also, the thin air at high-altitude locations allows more radiation to escape from the Earth's surface as compared to a location closer to sea level where the humidities may be higher. While not all certainly has something going for it. If you have a question about the weather, drop an email to question@weatherbrains.com.
Looking beyond the atmosphere, I'm Tony Rice with your astronomy outlook for the week of October 20th. There will be a partial solar eclipse visible from nearly all of North America on Wednesday. Those in the western half of the United States and Canada will see the entire eclipse. In Alaska, the moon will block out about 2/3 of the sun by about 1:30 p.m. local time. Observers in North Dakota through Minneapolis will see about half the sun block shortly before 5:30 p.m. Southern California will see about 1/3 of the sun blocked by about 3:30 p.m. Those east of the Oklahoma Panhandle to about Birmingham will see the first half of the event. Further east, the beginning of the eclipse will begin before sunset, and areas east of about 71 degrees longitude, or Boston, Maine, and the Canadian Maritimes, won't see any eclipse at all. Also this week, the Orionid's meteor shower peaks on Tuesday, the 21st, and continues through the end of the month with a maximum hour estimated. Moonset occurs before sunset on Tuesday, maximizing visibility by the remnants of Halley's Comet, which it left behind when it last passed through our solar system back in 1986. The next major meteor shower is the Geminids, visible the second and third weeks of December, peaking on December 13th. 120 meteors per hour have been seen in recent years under optimal conditions. Your mileage may vary. Also, the International Space Station will be visible this week just after sunset. Best viewing will be late in the week in the Pacific Southwest, Lower Rockies, Mississippi Valley, and the Mid-Atlantic region. Check spotthestation.nasa.gov to find out when to look for your location. That's your Astronomy Outlook. I'm NASA Ambassador Tony Rice. You can follow me on Twitter at RTPHokey for more spacey stuff like this.
Letters. We get letters. We get stacks and stacks of letters.
All right, it's time to open some email, and this might take me a moment tonight because my email is a little slow, but let's see if we can get through this. So we have 2 listener survey responses, one from Chris Keene out of Mount Olive, North Carolina, who follows Nate Johnson on Twitter, and he sends tweets promoting the podcast, and that is how he found the show. Chris would like to hear topics on hurricanes, good weather apps, which if you missed last week's show, go back and watch it. Every weather app that you have been searching for or wondered about, those apps are on last week's show. So make sure you go to weatherbrains.com and click on last week's show. It was our apps show. Weather websites, well, of course, you can go to weatherbrains.com and look at our picks of the week. Those are some great weather websites, and we pick a new one each week. So thank you for your response form. We appreciate those. And let's see if I can get to a couple other ones. Tarmo, our great friend Tarmo from Estonia, sent us an email about the about so little weather being on the Weather Channel's website. And there's a good article in Business Week about this and how some of the producers and the content is decided. He says that stuff has gotten so out of hand that Tarmo has stopped following them on Facebook. Tarmo also stayed up to see the eye of the hurricane pass over Bermuda, Gonzalo, and we should get someone from that company who runs the cameras on the show. Tarmo is also glued to the hashtag NWAS14 on Twitter, which has been trending nationally, at least on Sunday and Monday morning. So thank you, Tarmo, for sending in that email. Let's get to our next one. This one is from Tommy Scalen, and this is another listener survey response, and I believe they're fixing a light behind me that just blew out a moment ago. You would think that that was another fireball, but it just kind of exploded. Tommy sent in this from Woodbury, Minnesota. I would like to, from time to time, to hear from someone outside of the weather community to share their experiences with big weather events. And I think that's a really good point, James, and also to talk about the questions that we have. You know, did you heed the warnings? Did you listen to this? What did you do when this alert was issued? And we can ask those people what their take is on some of these events. What do you think?
No, I totally agree. That's very important. It goes back to servicing these people and finding out what works, what doesn't work. No, that's huge. It's great.
Absolutely, and that was a great idea. And I also have an email from Tim Bryce. We'll have to put this link up on the website. It's a YouTube video, or you could search YouTube for the Air Umbrella. This thing is quite interesting, and I'll see if I can pull it up and screen share in just a moment. But it is, instead of using an actual umbrella, it looks like a very long microphone, and it is like pushing the rain away and keeping that away from you. Okay, I'm going to skip ad, and we're going to try to pull this. Let's see if I can screen share this.
We could mass market this thing. This could be our ticket to retirement.
Yeah, it's let's see, start screen share.
There you go.
Can you see that?
Yes, I can. That's
but it's keeping that rain away. Oh, they're trying to get in, James. They're trying to.
Yeah, I keep getting calls from Bill, and he's just like, "Don't call me, man. I'll call you." I've sent Bill like 3 or 4 invitations to get back in, but I can't. If he's calling me, that doesn't do any good because I can't bring him in to this by him calling me, you know.
So, Bill, if you're listening, stop calling us.
Don't call us. We'll call you.
So that's all the email that I have. So thank you all for sending in your email. And again, Jen is calling for questions. So if you have a pressing question or something you've always wanted to know about one of us on WeatherBrains, send an email to email@weatherbrains.com, and I'll put it in a folder and I'll send it to Jen so she can ask us when she does her interview in a couple weeks. James, are you scared?
I'm horrified. Yes. No, we're old pros here. We'll take them all on. So that's cool. All right. So we're gonna do. Let's go to the Skydiver in the Fog Bank.
Okay.
And we're gonna see if we can rejoin the crew in Salt Lake here in just a minute. But let's check out Skydiver's picks of the week with the Fog Bank.
Initiating startup sequence.
Hello, WeatherBrains listeners. This is David Phillips, Skydiver on Twitter. My first pick comes from Eric Fisher, Chief Meteorologist for CBS in Boston, with a nice article on technology and tornado identification. Astronomy Picture of the Day gets 2 slots this week, with a short video of sprite lightning in slow motion and an auroral corona picture taken in Norway. I've got an oldie but goodie from April 25th, 2013, Noah's Weather Ready Nation news on dual polarization radar. And I'll close with 2 links from Earth Science Picture of the Day, lenticular clouds over the Andes and a rolled cloud in Brazil. Hope you enjoy those. Skydiver out.
Initiating shutdown sequence.
When the weather ball is red, warmer weather is ahead. When the weather ball is white, colder weather is in sight. When the weather ball is green, no change in the weather is foreseen. When colors blink by night or day, precipitation's on the way.
We're just all out of order here. Aubrey, it's just me and you, it looks like. So
that's right.
We're taking this show to the top. I thought we'd talk about weather going on around the nation. There's not a whole lot to talk about. Isn't this a great time of the year?
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. You know, I was out this weekend. I judged an apple pie contest.
Cool.
So that was pretty interesting. I tried 13 different apple pies, and then afterwards the husband, I do a weekly foliage report for our area in the valley every Thursday during foliage season. So this was my, I think 3rd report this week, and I took some of my own advice and traveled along the foothills of the Shenandoah Mountains and also the Blue Ridge, or Shenandoah Mountain and then the Blue Ridge Mountains on either side of the valley, and it was gorgeous.
I think you live in the most beautiful part of this nation at this time of the year. I see the pictures that you retweet, and they're just stunning. They're absolutely beautiful, and I've been trying to show more and more on air, and a lot of them, especially West Virginia. You know, there's a little county just south of ours. It's technically out of our viewing area, but it is just on the border of it. It's called Highland County, Virginia, and they peak in foliage usually about the last week in September, but you go mid to late September to Highland County, Virginia, and oh my goodness, absolutely stunning some of the pictures that come out of this area. I visited that county last year, and it was just absolutely gorgeous. Wow, that's awesome. And
have you been here, James? Have you been to the Shenandoah Valley?
I have been through there, but not really at the peak of the foliage season. We have gone through there for various reasons by car. Typically, when I go places, I fly, but occasionally, like our kids playing baseball in New York, or some reason to be traveling through there, and the beauty is just amazing any time of the year. But especially looking at the pictures that you retweet, and I've been to West Virginia. I went to Snowshoe Mountain.
Oh, okay. It's just that's about 2 hours away from me, I think.
Yeah, I did that a couple of years ago at Christmas, and again, it is just so for people that are interested, like the Blue Ridge Parkway, the Shenandoah Valley. What are some of the best places to look at fall colors?
Oh, I think the Blue Ridge Parkway is a top-notch spot, and right now the best areas to go is you got to pull out a map for this, but you find one of the kind of the main routes, state routes that are just at the foothills of the mountains. If you find one of those, you will see some great colors. And on the Blue Ridge side, there is a road that kind of goes right up the mountain, and it's pretty much a straight shot. On the other side, on the western side, you have to kind of skim through a couple of routes, but if you pull out a map and just kind of skim through the foothills of the Blue Ridge, that right now is some of the best color.
Cool. All right. Well, again, we are in the process of trying to get our Salt Lake City crew back. He's still calling me right now. He's called me like 10 times. And again, what happened? I can answer him, but it's not going to do any good to get him on this show because it's a whole separate deal here. So it says he is rebooted, so hopefully he'll be able to get back on here in just a second. Okay. But what we're going here, we're doing the National Weather Roundup. It is an amazingly quiet pattern for much of the nation, which is fairly common for October. I guess the one interesting item, at least I noticed today, is that there is a disturbance in the Bay of Campeche for the tropical fans. And we have to remember that hurricane season runs through the end of November. And so we can have systems this late in the season, and it seems as though this thing wants to come across the Yucatan, emerging in the Caribbean, and then turning north up toward Cuba, and maybe affecting the southern tip of Florida in about a week, Key West and Miami, and then it turns right again off into the Atlantic. And it will be interesting to see how the whole thing unfolds, and I think that's probably the last gasp of the season for the tropics.
It's been that was actually my weather question segment that I did tonight. The question was, what happened to hurricane season this year? It was
all in the Pacific. It was all the other side. It was. Yeah. The Pacific's been rocking and rolling, but the Atlantic has been very, very quiet. And again, for those of you also just joining us, this is the time where we start the pre-show. And this is when we're typically starting, and now we're kind of like wrapping up, but we had to do an early show this week if you didn't get the notes on social media, because most of our crew, they are at the National Weather Association annual meeting.
They didn't invite me and James. We were left out.
It's sad. The two of us were the social outcasts. But they are there, and if you missed it, they had some really great guests, just great guests. We had the executive director of the American Meteorological Society, the executive director of the National Weather Association, had a lot of television meteorologists. We had some very important people. I was fascinated. We had students. I thought our crew out there did a great job getting folks on the air. But they dropped, and understand if you've been to a convention. Hey, there's Nate. Nate is back. Yes. So Nate, can you hear us?
Hello, Nate.
So it says we've been rejected, James Spann. Thanks for nothing. There we go. All right.
Wow.
You're on.
Hold on. Stand by.
Now, I've like re-invited Bill like 10 times into this thing, so I don't know what to do. You are not allowed to join this video call. Wow. This is creepy. Well, let's just use your phone. I mean, your phone looks good. I mean, your phone video is just as clean as the computer.
Bill's upset.
Maybe our sign to wrap it up.
Maybe it's time to go have adult beverage.
I noticed Dr. John was sucking down a brew back there in the background during one of the guests, so I think Dr. John is relaxing back there. Bill, what do we need to do? Any final business here? We see you loud and clear on Nate's phone here.
Yeah, I don't know that we've got anything else that we need to do, Bill. Anything else we want to wrap up here? Any final thoughts?
We could have 100 guests on tonight, and we wouldn't have enough time. So.
Yeah, we've got. I mean, this is this is the line, to be on WeatherBrains here, and they're just
Wow.
trying to cue us up. But it's we got to go break the ice. That's what we do.
All right. Well, you party boys, just go have your big party, okay?
Yep. Can you imagine? Do we have some bail money on standby for these guys?
Yeah. Gotta bail them out.
Who's in charge?
I still think one of these guys are going to be on the tables with a tank top, wearing a do-rag before the night's over. And I'd love to know
you're going
one
to
of these
be on a
guys.
tabletop with your shirt
Yep.
on before it's over. So, well, I guess we'll just wrap it up from here, and I'll let you guys take the rest of the show with picks of the week and whatever else y'all want to do. But anything else you want to say, Dr. Scala, Rick? Yeah. Everybody's asking about it. The weather is here. Wish you were beautiful.
All right, boys. You boys be careful now.
All right.
Bye.
Signing off from Salt Lake City. Y'all take care.
Yeah, I booted him. I don't know. I didn't try and boot him where you can't.
You should just be able to click on it. Even the original call, you should be able to click on, because when I've had to restart before, you just click on that original call and you were invited, and it should let you in.
That's how I get back on these things.
Yeah.
Well, so if you got a pick of the week, this is all we got left is pick of the week.
Yes, I do have a pick of the week. This was an alert that I found out about on Twitter this week, talking to a meteorologist in Virginia, Brett Watts, and he was tweeting about some. They were testing warnings in their area, and he said, "Don't freak out, we're testing a blizzard warning." And I said, "Well, if you're going to test out warnings, you need to go all out and do a volcano warning." And he said, "I'm still trying to figure out what this wreck house wind warning is." And Craig at It's All Eternal on Twitter chimed in and said that it is a legitimate warning in parts of Canada, and it is named for a region of Canada in Newfoundland, where these winds kind of form. And it is, I think it's winds of like 80 miles an hour, and they're called wreck house winds because they can knock railroad cars off their tracks. So I have a really interesting article about the wreck house wind phenomenon and some of the details, and I've just kind of skimmed through it. But I thought that was, have you ever heard of the wreck house wind warning?
No, I've never heard of that, and I'm old as dirt. That's new to me.
That's a new one. So I believe it started in 2004. So
learn something new on this show. And Dr. Johnson in a pick, his pick was the NOAA Winter Outlook.
Yep.
And I'm going to make my pick, my response to the NOAA Winter Outlook that I went on one of my tirades on television last week. And
can't wait.
Oh, yeah. Our early news, I'm kind of laid back. So on the 4 o'clock news, I responded to that. So that'll be my pick. And what I'm going to do, we're going to go ahead and wrap this thing up because if we wrap it up now, our cable television crew, they can get the replay going here in 2 minutes.
Okay.
So, again, thanks to everybody for listening. If you want to get in touch with us, our email address, it is email@weatherbrains.com. Aubrey handles all of that. Our social media accounts are on the website, weatherbrains.com. Brian Peters, by the way, is out this week, and Kevin is out. Kevin is moving. Kevin Selly moving to Wichita Falls, and Brian is on the Gulf Coast, I think. So we'll get them back hopefully in the fold next week, and everybody will be back from Salt Lake. But I thought this was a great show. It was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was great. So thanks to all for listening and watching. We typically do the shows Monday evenings at 9:30 Eastern. We were early this week, but we'll be back on the regular schedule next week. You can watch us at live.bigbrainsmedia.com. You can watch the YouTube replays. We know that most of you listen to the produced audio podcast, but however you watch or listen, thanks. On behalf of the entire WeatherBrains crew, I'm James Spann. Thanks for listening. Have a wonderful week, and God bless. Hit the post. Hey, thanks, Aubrey.
Thanks, James. Have a great night.
Okay, you too. See you now. Bye.
Bye.